Welcome back to Black Swan Outdoors. Today we're going to be talking about a burner phone roll. What is a burner phone roll? This was something that I kind of came up with as a way to organize covert communication tools. So there's many different uses, or several different uses of this roll, but primarily it's to help kind of organize the different burner phones you may have. So there's different techniques on using burner phones, one of which is not actually discarding the phone, getting rid of SIM cards, and rotating the phone into different usage. This is something very common that Tibetan monks, for example, do this when they're trying to communicate and kind of avoid Chinese infiltration with their communications. But this might be, depending on your adversary, that type of technique may or may not work. So anyway, this roll here is just basically a canvas material with kind of padding behind it, and then it can roll up so that you can put all of your communications gear into a suitcase or duffel bag or whatever. This is designed to fit in the same width as I would stay away from the Walmart branded phones and stick with something a little bit more generic. The reason why I had gotten this phone actually was as to be a backup to it's a different carrier than my cell phone. So if the cell service was to go down, I might be able to get a signal out with this phone on a different carrier. So it's more of kind of an emergency phone. And then this was an old travel phone. So when I leave the country, go to a new country, I can pop in local SIM card in there. Now for Tails and for the usage of a smartphone and computer, in general computer usage, I go into pretty good detail about how you can set up covert communications, both the hardware and software on the blog, and then I do have a pretty detailed kind of description of how to use burner phones as well, to be completely safe. So some other things I have on the kit here are just your regular charging cables and AC adapter. And then right here is a DIY microphone jack. You can stick this into the jack, and basically it tricks the phone into thinking that there's a microphone in there, and then anyone listening in that has malware on your phone, won't be able to listen in. Now this is a little older technology. They can bypass that. That can be bypassed nowadays. So, these jacks aren't as useful, but it's just another tool, and it costs absolutely nothing to make. Certainly what does work, though, is tape over the camera lens. And as you can see right here, I've got some electrical tape that you can put over the camera right here. So That's nice. I've got a little assortment of SIM cards, a battery bank instead of another phone, which is fine for now, and then an extra USB drive here. And this USB drive can be used for multiple things. If we're trying to get Covert phones or other communications gear, we can do this. We can purchase the stuff over Bitcoin. In order to do that, you could meet in person. So I can use this as a Bitcoin wallet if I need to. Otherwise, I can just keep you know, operating procedures, kind of reminders. I have a good kind of rundown or description of how to use Tails. If you don't use it very often, it kind of a good, nice refresher. So I have a PDF on that and some other PDFs on communications that one could have on a thumb drive. This is partitioned with Veracrypt, so it's encrypted, so I can pretty much keep whatever I need on there. And then finally, I have here super glued onto the roll itself is an NFC tag. If anyone's not familiar with the NFC tags, I've got quite a bit of posts, I think multiple posts and some videos on how to use these and what they're used for. So I have this one programmed with specific numbers on here. So I can just run my smartphone over this, and then it'll bring up different phone numbers that I would need to call out with or need to communicate with. So I can kind of program this as needed, but it basically just has some contact information on there. So yeah, so then when I'm done with my phone usage, I can simply just roll this up, and I can be able to very quickly take my phones with me and organize them. So if I had to move very quickly, kind of a last minute, I don't have things all around. Everything is right here where it's at in a workstation. And if I needed to, create a sense of discretion, or to be a little bit more discreet in, like, say, a hotel or something, didn't want people to see an array of phones and look like a drug dealer, then I kind of acts as kind of a blanket so people can't see. If I'm rotating the different burner phones instead of tossing them, I can keep track of which phones I've used. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I can just rotate it through, so that I know that the last one that I've used was, say, over here or on that side, whatever. So these are just kind of some things to think about. Instead of just kind of putting these phones in a bag or whatever, I can do that. I had thought about making this out of RF material entirely, so that when you rolled up, it could block any kind of radio frequencies. But I thought it wasn't necessary, because most of the phones that I'd have on here are going to be older anyway, and I can always wrap them in tin foil if need be. So kind of opted to not do that. Yeah, so this is the burner phone roll. It's kind of a process in the making. So there may be some updates as I continue to work with this and use it. Hope you enjoyed.